Hello. 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 Okay. So there's a bit of delay, but that's okay. We're here on peace officers and militant men. I have two stories I wanted to share with you, and then I'll end it on Black history fun facts. Okay, so the first story I want to bring to you is the 3 U.S. troops killed in drone attack on Jordan base named. Tributes poured in as Pentagon named Georgia reservist Kennedy, Sanders, Williams, Jerome Rivers, and Breonna Alexandra Moffett as victims of attack. I thought that was a woman. I wasn't sure if it was a woman or a man. Um, so the story or the report states 3 U.S. troops who were killed in the drone strike on a U.S. base in Jordan have been named by the Pentagon. Sergeant William Jerome Rivers, 46, Specialist Kennedy Sanders, 24, Specialist Brianna Alexandria Moffett, 23, died in the attack on Sunday that also injured dozens of people. It is understood to have been launched by an Iranian-backed militia mainly based in Iraq. All three of the troops who died were armed reservists from 926th Engineer Brigade based in the U.S. state of Georgia. Rivers was from Carlton Sanders. Oh, it's Carlton. Sanders from Waycross and Moffett from Savannah. Sanders' father, Sean, said on Monday she was speaking with her mom the day before. It wasn't like they were at high alert or in a secure bunker. During their last phone conversation, Sanders told her mother that she wanted to take her military career to a new level when she returned home to Georgia and that she was thinking of buying a motorcycle. Sanders was scheduled to return to Waycross in the summer, the hometown where she helped coach soccer and basketball and worked at a pharmacy while taking college course with the aim of becoming an X-ray technician. I find that disheartening. I don't understand why they would attack a base in Georgia. And then I don't know if they're sure if it came from Iraq. I don't know if they're 100% sure. Please put in the comment if you have any information on this. But I am sad to hear that These people lost their life and they had plans in the future. They were so young as well. Even the sergeant, he was still young. So let's resume. Sanders' parents said she had volunteered to deploy, eager for a chance to see a different part of the world. Her father said she was loved. She didn't have any enemies. All the time, you saw her smiling. This is somebody who was just living life, enjoying life at a young age, working towards a career. Bridge Gen Todd Lazarowski, Commanding General 412, uh, theater engineer. I'm not sure if it's theater, but okay. Theater Engineer Command expressed condolences to the family, loved ones, and teammates of those killed. We are reminded that the brave men and women who defend our great nation put their lives on the line each and every day to keep our country safe. He said in a statement, they represent the best of America. We will remember their services and their sacrifice. That is true. I wanted to join the military myself when I was about 16 to 19. Um, and it wasn't for me. I wasn't in the right headspace or disciplined at that time. Sometimes I think maybe I could still join at my age today, but I don't think it's for me. And I do appreciate the people who are brave enough to go out and put their life on the line to protect their country. Rivers enlisted in the Army Reserve in 2011 and was first assigned to the 990th Engineer Company at Fort McGuire Dix in New Jersey. He completed a 9-month tour in Iraq in 2018 and was assigned to Fort Moore last year. Mofe enlisted in the Army Reserve in 2019 and was initially assigned to the 381st Engineer Company in Tifton. Then Fort Moore last year. In Sanders' hometown of Waycross, flags were lowered to half staff on Monday. The family's congressmen and state lawmakers called to offer condolences. A local judge posted a photo on social media of the young woman when she had volunteered for his campaign. Sandra and her twin brother were the middle children of 5 siblings born and raised in the community. Uh, her father served in the Marine Corps and her mother, Onita Oliver Sanders, had been a member of the county school board. So she came from a good family. Okay, it wasn't like they were out of control. It seems like these were good people, and even being good people, they still became targets of violence. Sanders joined the Army Reserve 5 years ago and served as an engineer assigned to a unit based in rural Tifton, Georgia. Her father said, Sean Sanders said he suspected his daughter was dead when uniformed military officers came to their house. I know it's hard to see them walk up, drive up. I don't know what the future may hold, but I pray that I don't have to experience something like that. and I feel pain for those families who have to suffer with that loss. I knew, being a former member of the armed service, he said, I wanted it to be something different, but I knew then. Sanders' mother said her daughter had been injured and she looked forward to more trips abroad and had been studying Italian in anticipation of someday visiting Italy. All of these different things that she had planned for, were just cut short in the blink of an eye. Onita Sanders said, I just feel like somebody like her that's so full of life, it's just unfair that she'll never get to realize those dreams that she had. So I really feel pain for this family. I want to send out my condolences as well. I believe this happened January 29th. So it's almost a month later. I saw this in the news and I'm having a chance to read it now. So let's just send out our prayers to the family and be glad that we're able to wake up another day. And again, appreciate those who are putting their life on the line for us to be free every day. Okay, so that's the first story. The next story is
Reservist.
reserves. Let's see if I can get to it. No, no, no. Okay, it's two police officers, one firefighter dead after responding to a domestic incident in Minnesota. This is a tragic loss for our state. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz said in a statement, two police officers and a firefighter are dead, and other officers were injured after responding to a domestic call in the Minneapolis suburbs of Burnsville on Sunday. The governor of Minnesota said, we received horrific, where was I? We received horrific news from Burnsville this morning, Governor Tim Walz wrote in a statement. While responding to a call of a family in danger, two police officers and one firefighter lost their lives, and other officers were injured. At approximately 10:29 a.m. local time on Sunday, the St. Paul Borough of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives tweeted an alert that said ATF agents were responding to a scene in Burnsville where there had been reports of officers involved in a domestic related shooting. Hmm. No specific details were immediately released about what led to Sunday's shooting. The shooter involved in the incident is also dead. NBC News reported, citing a statement from Minnesota's Department of Public Safety. Waltz added that the group is working with local law enforcement to conduct investigation into the incident. The governor has ordered that flags be flown at half post across Minnesota on Monday in honor of the victims. We must never take for granted the bravery and sacrifices our first responders make each and every day. His statement continued. Today, the families of these public servants received the call they knew. Today, the families of these public servants received the call they knew was possible, but hoped would never come. My heart is with those grieving families. The state of Minnesota stands ready to support in any way we can. This is a tragic loss for our state. And I feel like in situations like this, families don't want money. Okay? You can't put a price on your loved ones. If you really love this person, I know some people can be bought. Okay? Some people can be bought. But in situations like this where you're a mother, wife, husband, father, cousin, brother, sister, whatever it is, you cannot pay someone for someone else's loss. So I know it probably rubbed some of the families wrong when they said we're here to do anything. How about bring them back? I'm pretty sure that's what they want. They want them back. But they knew the risk when they got involved with the job. So not only did the men in line or women in line knew, but also their family knew the risk, as the article stated. They were expecting the call, not wanting it. And the message posted on Twitter, formerly known Burnsville Police Chief Brian O'Hara wrote, "Please keep Burnsville Police Department in your prayers this morning." Yes. Minnesota Police and Peace Officer Association Executive Director Brian Peters said in a statement that the state's law enforcement community is heartbroken by the death of their colleagues. We're just devastated at the horrific loss, Peter added. These heroes leave behind loved ones in a community who will forever remember their bravery and dedication to keeping Minnesota safe. Law Enforcement Labor Service Executive Director Jim Martinshan said in a statement, "Our thoughts and prayers are with the families of the officers and first responders who responded to a domestic call this morning. These officers were struck down while answering the call of duty to serve and protect. We mourn alongside the Burnsville community and the families of those killed." Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar wrote on Twitter that she and her husband John Besler are praying for the victims and their family. Learning from police this morning that 3 officers had been shot in Burnsville, she tweeted, "They were doing their job. They were protecting our community." And that is true, except there was only 2 officers. Um, and I don't necessarily consider um, paramedics as officers, as the article stated, first responders. But I wanted to, okay. I wanted to touch on something in the last part. Um, okay. I wanted to touch on the fact that this was conducted in the suburbs. The article said in the suburbs, not in the hood. So I want us to be mindful of danger is everywhere. It's not just in the urban community or our predominantly Hispanic groups. It's everywhere. I don't know what made this man go, or woman, because I'm not sure. It just says the shooter is also deceased. But I don't know what made them attack officers, people who were there to assist them. I can appreciate the fact that people were there to help. You know, sometimes people are in these positions, they don't even take calls like this or minor calls serious. They just come, they're very nonchalant or whatever. And so in this case, you have officers doing their job and being gunned down. And it's sad that we're not able, or we are going through so much in our personal life that we can't take a moment to step back and be able to communicate, how we're feeling, possibly get into some therapy, work out these emotions before we make, a poor decision taking out someone's family. Like, now we have several families without leaders in their home. Whether they are guilty or innocent is not up for us to decide, but now they're without them. Now they're without their resource. So we have to be able to make better decisions when we're under this pressure of emotions. Um, and I'm not above it. I'm still working on it at my big old age, but I'm just going to continue on praying for the family and hoping that they're able to heal. You never get over it, but heal and be able to, I don't even want to say move on with life, but cope with life. I'll say that. Cope with it. Okay, so my last article will be on a Black History fact. And it's not just because it's Black History Month. I just want y'all to be aware of this. I'm going to be speaking on this even after, because Black History for me is every day. Every day. 366 days a year. Okay. So this article is called, and it's in the New York Times Magazine. It's called "The Civil War Veteran." The Reverend Moses Berry, 69, of Ash Grove, uh, Missouri, I think. Hold on a second. Yeah, okay. So I was right. I'm sorry. The Reverend Moses of the story behind the photograph. This was always in the family picture book. Every 10 years, the Missouri 6th Cavalry had a reunion and a group photo was taken. This one was from November 1908. My great grandfather, Wallace White, sits at the bottom third from the right. Wallace was free behind the end. Wallace was free before the end of the Civil War by Union soldiers from the field where he was enslaved in Mount Sterling, Kentucky. As the story goes, when the cavalry came through, they asked Wallace if he wanted to go and fight with them, to which he replied, "Deed I do." He stayed with them until he mustered out at the end of the war. The fellow to the left of him in the image is one of the men who helped free my great grandfather. His last name was Whiteford. Later, Wallace saved his life. At some point during their campaign in Vicksburg, Missouri, Whiteford needed to use the bathroom, and the best place for him to do it was behind a haystack. All all of a sudden, there was a Confederate soldier who was, I can only imagine, he would have killed him with a gun, because if not, it would have been another part to the story. that he killed a man with his bare hands. He saved White Ford's life, so White Ford was always in debt to Wallace. The legacy. My grandmother, Mammy White, Wallace's youngest daughter, gave me my middle name, Wallace. So it's always held a special meaning for me. He was long suffering. When Wallace was asked by my father and uncle why he was so kind to the very people who had held him in captivity, he replied, "Because I want to go to heaven." He was he was a symbol of keeping your eye on the prize. Okay, so I Wallace is a different type of man, okay? I don't know if I personally would be in the business of and I understand that, we have to have mm, this thing inside us to make wise decision. And in the case of Wallace, it was because he believed in God. Um, I personally want to be a good person and I try to stick up for what's right. At the same time, I'm like, we are still begging and scratching for complete freedom. I won't even say general freedom. Like, we are still struggling and at the bottom of everything. So I don't make it my business to try to be a savior in somebody else's community. That has nothing to do with me. But kudos to Wallace. White Ford, I believe his name was able to help him get his freedom. And so, you know, one good deed was able to have a counter reaction or a reaction to another good deed. So I could appreciate it. At the same time, it's probably not in me. I don't know. You never say never because you never know when you're in that until you're in that situation. So